Right, good evening, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Hashtag Black Matters Lives, where we're going to talk about the events that have happened recently in America. I'm going to introduce you to our panel, do a small introduction, and then bosh, off we go, okay? Feel free to ask any questions. We'll do our best to answer them. So here we go. Let's bring everybody in. Can you all hear us?
Hi everyone.
Hi.
Hey, how are you all? I'm going to do it like this to start off with, guys, so we can see each other, right? Obviously, messages are coming in. What we'll do is we start ourselves up from the top. If I'm right in saying, Sivad, you are in the middle next to me, is that right?
Yeah.
So we'll start with you, then we'll go to, oh man, this is going to cause me so many problems.
Shaz, aka Shaz.
AKA Shaz, then to Chanel, then to Kaz, and then to Eminaba. So, rock on. Sivad, introduce yourself.
My name is Zivad, and do you want me to say my age?
If you want to, you don't have to.
I'm 20 years old. I don't look it, but yeah, I'm 20 years old, and I'm Turkish Cypriot.
Lovely. Next.
Hi, I'm Medina's none of your business, aka Shaz. Age ain't nothing but a number. I'm a mother of two beautiful daughters. My partner is of Black heritage, and I'm Cypriot.
Lovely. Chanel, make sure you take your mic off.
Hiya. Yeah, sorry, my baby walked in. I'm Chanel. I have 4 mixed race children, and their dad is from the Caribbean, and I'm 32. I'm Turkish Cypriot mixed.
Lovely. Kaz?
Hi, I'm Kaz. My actual name's Maydem, but everyone calls me Kaz. This is my husband, Matt, and I am 34. He's 35. I'm Turkish Cypriot. I'm a barber by trade, and I run a charity called Wigs for Heroes, supporting people at the North Middlesex Hospital. And do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Matt. I'm married to this lovely Turkish Cypriot lady, and I live in Tottenham with her.
And where are you from?
I'm half Russian, half Caribbean.
Lovely. Right. Eminaba.
Okay, my name's Emine. I'm one of the admins on the TCC UK. I am Turkish Cypriot. I've got 2 grown-up daughters, and I love being on this page and with this group. And we've got lots of things to talk about, I think. So I think we should get on, Hassan.
We do, yeah. So obviously, those of you who don't know me, I'm Hassan. Obviously, I'm another admin. I'm 41 years old, look 21. I've got 4 kids and I'm married. My wife is half Nigerian. My children are all mixed race. I'm so passionate about this. So if I do get a tear in my eye, you've got to understand, man, this means a lot to me. So I really wanted to do it. Chanel reached out to me and said she wanted to do a live on this matter, and I was so fully behind her on this. And luckily, we managed to get the likes of Kaz and everybody else to join us and share their views and opinions. You've got to remember something, guys, yeah? We're going to try our best to be as best as we can. That's all I can say, right? Who wants to start the show?
Shall I?
If you go,
Right.
Hi everyone for a start.
Hi everyone. The reason why I reached out to admin about this subject was because I see a lot of comments that I didn't like, and I felt like I had to address it personally. And I feel like as a parent of a child that is mixed race, this subject is really important to me, because I feel like if we don't stand and make a change now, then our children are going to suffer because of it. So I feel like our generation has to make a stand for this and make a difference for future generations to come. And like instantly I reached out to admin. I was like, look, can we do something about this? We need to talk to people. And basically some people are just not aware of what they're saying and what effect what they're saying has on people. So I feel like if we can discuss this matter as a group and basically educate some people, because some people ain't aware, then I think then maybe they can understand how it makes a person feel. Us as mothers, partners, wives of people there, and fathers as well, we can maybe give them an insight on the words that they use and the way that we're treated. Me as a parent of a mixed race child, or of a partner of a black man, the kind of prejudices we experienced. I mean, I'm sure maybe some of you have experienced it as well. The comments you get that are made to you, such as, "Oh, hayatına harcadın, güzelliğini bilmedin," he's gonna cheat on you. They're all the same. They don't treat their women properly. I'm sure in every kind of culture, men cheat, men have been abusive. We have good and bad in all cultures. So for me, I want to make a stand to say that stop judging and stereotyping people on what your perception of them are, and take people for who they actually are. Get to know them, give them a chance. You know, I feel like from the second I got in the relationship with my children's dad, it felt like everyone had seen it doomed from the beginning. No one wanted to give us that opportunity to shine. You know, so I just want to say, you know, my point of view on this. You know, everyone's point of view and what their experiences are totally different.
You know what, Chanel, I totally agree with you. And one of the reasons I wanted to do this is for many reasons, right? I wanted to do it because, and I wanted to support you, is because, and this is not me being rude to anybody, any one shape or form here, yeah, but I do find that older generations of our community are a little bit ignorant in not understanding the difference, right? Now, I know we're going to go into this later on in the show, but if we are totally honest with everyone, I mean, I saw a picture from Hussein Hodri. He posted a picture of his great grandmother, I think it was. Unmute your mic, Eminaba. Unmute your mic.
Sorry, yeah, it was my great grandmother that he posted, because we're cousins, obviously, and she was a black woman. It's probably where I got the fro hair from, because usually my hair's like this big.
Yeah.
But you know, it upset me yesterday. Sorry, it upset me yesterday because as a Turkish Cypriot, I'm proud to be a Turkish Cypriot, and if I wasn't proud, I wouldn't be in this group. And I wouldn't do what we do and have someone do what we did. And this is about a community. We are called the Turkish Cypriot community in the UK. We are a community, okay? In a community, there are different people, there are different types, there are different religions. You know, just because you're Turkish Cypriot doesn't mean that you're Muslim. You might, you know, not be a Muslim. You might be another religion. You might have chosen to opt out. People in our culture, in our community, we are passionate people. There is no, you know, there's no question. Turkish Cypriots as a community, as a people, are passionate. But we have to put our passion behind the right causes and behind the right issues, and we need to support each other. We are in the UK, yeah? We're Turkish Cypriots in the UK. We're not in a closed society. We are in the United Kingdom. We are part of the world. Whatever's happening in the world is happening to the UK too. It's happening to us, happening to our community. So yesterday, obviously, because of hashtag Black Lives Matter, we chose to post these. We chose to allow, if you like, the post, because it's a worldwide thing. We are part of the world. We are not on our own here, yeah? In our communities, there are black, you know, you've all said, some of you said, you know, Matt's sitting in front of us. You've got black husbands, wives, children, whatever. We've got Asians, we've got Greek, we've got, you know, that is the way of the world. That is the world right now. And I find it really upsetting, and I find it really frustrating that as a community, we cannot have a conversation. We are not able to have a civilized conversation, debate about all these different matters, you know, and this does matter. We have children. I've got grandchildren, you know, I've got a grandchild. I don't want my grandchild growing up feeling how you felt yesterday and how I felt. I don't have a black partner, or I don't have black children, but you know what? I care about people. To me, people are people. I don't care if you come off the moon. I don't care if you're green with pink spots on. To me, you're a person. And that's what we should be looking at. We should be supporting each other, not rowing and calling each other names. We put these debates up. We put these posts up to encourage debate. Debate is healthy, yeah? To get different sides of the story, to get everyone's opinion. I won't necessarily agree with any of you, or you won't agree with me. But you know what? I respect you. I respect your opinion. I respect your decision. And that's what it's about. For me, this live, this group, it's about being together, and it's about respecting each other. We have to come together. We've got to be together. We've all got to help each other, whether you're black, you're white, you're Chinese, whatever you are. We're people. End of. We are people. And I get so upset. And I'm sorry. It does really hurt that I just think, why are we so unaccepting of people as a community? As a community, we're unaccepting of people. We can be talking about anything, and it always reverts back to politics. It reverts back to religion. It reverts back to the Turkish and Greek, situation. I'm not denying that. That is our history. That is how we have come to where we are. That's happened to us. It's happened to our families. But you know what? We need to be able to talk about these things without calling each other names, without swearing at each other, without bandying words around that people don't know the real meanings to. This is what it's about for me. If one person out of the 10,000 people we've got in this group just listens to just the one thing, please open your eyes, open your minds. Yeah, it's 2020, and for me, I'm sad that 2020 we're still having this conversation, and I'm sure we're gonna have it for years to come. But it's 2020. You need
For
to
me,
open
Em,
your eyes.
I feel I feel your passion, I feel the pain, and one of the things I've been really concerned about is, I felt angry at times as well. I've got daughters, I've got a husband, I've got a lot of friends from different cultures, and one of the questions is what's the way to move forward? Is violence the answer? Is protesting, riots the answer? And I really thought about this, which is why I made my post today. And I think you're right. I think it is looking at our own communities and making change within all of our communities. Maybe Turkish, maybe English, maybe Arab. And these are the key areas, because racism exists in all cultures and from all different countries. But with this specific subject, we have to ask ourselves why Black people are not accepted in all cultures, in all countries. It's a big issue, you know what I mean? And for me, the answer is to look at ourselves and within our own communities, and like what we're doing now is to try and educate each other and, thrash it out. Let's thrash it out. Let's have a discussion about it. I mean, for example, the debate for me today was somebody just refused to use the hashtag Black Lives Matter, and this whole All Lives Matter thing. Of course, everybody matters, but at the moment, this is the issue. And why is it when it comes to the Black community, nobody wants to use that hashtag? Everyone wants to say, all lives matter. No, right now, Black Lives Matter, and it's really clear within our Cypriot community, we do have a lot of Black heritage. And that's another factor. I mean, who are we as Cypriots? We call ourselves Turks, but do we really know our heritage? We're Ottomans. We're not even Turkish. We have Black DNA. You know what I mean? Our ancestry is also Black. So I think it's raising awareness of educating ourselves in that area, in order to eliminate it. Yeah, violence is not the answer, but right now it is. I mean, your pain and your frustration. Imagine the people in America, people that are actually Black, and what they have to live through every day. You know what I mean? Maybe you might not be. I mean, here in Cyprus, a lot of people might not accept it, but there is a lot of racism. I live amongst the student community here. I spend most of my time in Cyprus. There's a massive Nigerian African community, actually. And now the subject has come up. I've had a lot of discussions with Cypriots and a lot of Turks as well from mainland Turkey. And it's raised a lot of awareness about how actually they've treated Black people in this country, And when I say things like my DNA, I've actually got Nigerian, Bantu tribe and Ghanaian within my DNA. My dad is a Black Turk. All my dad's family are Black. You know what I mean? And so it has raised a lot of awareness, and it's made people do things differently. And I think this is where it needs to start within our own communities.
I want to run off that, like we started off and You know, we named this show hashtag Black Lives Matter, right? And we see people post it like all lives matter, right? And as you said, touch on that, all lives do matter, but right now, Black Lives Matter. Right now is where we need to stand united. We need to stand side by side with one another, and we need to make loud noises. Because I was thinking about this a lot, right, guys? And I'm just going to put this in hindsight, okay? I'm just going to mute your mic, Abla, because look back my end. Right, and I looked at this in a sense, right, guys. When you want to talk, unmute your mic, yeah, and then talk. And I'm just going to put this in hindsight. Say, for example, there's 100 million people in the world, right? Okay, 50 million of them are racist, 50 million of them are not racist, right? If we can work hard and hard amongst ourselves, united, and every year we bring that margin down of racist people to be smaller and smaller and smaller, we are achieving something. We're educating people. And that's what we need to do. But the more that we continue to stand and make a front is the more more we can do this. Unfortunately, and as sad as this is, and it angers me and makes me want to cry, yeah, is the fact that in 20 years' time, we're most probably still going to have some idiot talking rubbish and being racist as he is. But it can't happen no more. It can't. We all need to make this stand, guys. We all need to make this stand. And we need to help educate those that don't maybe not understand. Maybe have been brought up in a small-minded, and that sounds rude, but in a small-minded family who don't know anything out of that family. Do you understand what I mean? I do believe a lot of the people on this group are not ignorant. I do believe a lot of these people on our group and who are watching this show based in the UK are a bit more broad-minded, because no matter where we are, we have a multicultural country. No matter where we have a multicultural area, right? We've always got different types of people around us. Do you see what I mean? And that's really how I feel on this. And Black Lives Matter right now, not today, not tomorrow, not next day, every day of the year. And all lives do matter, but in this assignment, Black Lives Matter. And that's how I stand with that. I'm sorry.
Can I quickly just say something as well?
Please.
I totally agree with you. And it is true, like, we have been brought up in a world to be together. We have not been brought up to be treated differently. Like, God made us to be one. God made us to be together, to be powerful together. And the fact that hearing black people are being targeted because of what? Because they're different colors. Like, that's so horrible and disgusting to even think about. Like, what really upsets me is the fact that that people still think it's okay to be like this, but it's not okay, because we should be treated all the same. We should be treated as one. Like, this is who we are. We may be different, yes, that's how we've been brought up, but we're still all together as one. And to be honest, like, what really upsets me is the fact that there's a lot of this, that thinking people is okay and whatnot, and hearing just so many stories about it, just young people dying as well. It upsets me so much. And literally scrolling through yesterday through social media and people just posting about it, even protests and everything, it's so emotional and overwhelming. It's just like, I had to speak out. I was like, no, I'm going to make sure my voice is heard, and I'm supporting that, because it's important to know. It's important for people to know that, you know, we are together as one, and that we should be all treated the same, equally. And yeah.
Can I say something?
Please.
So I think it's so easy for us to sort of sit and say this because we are not racist, you know, we are educated enough, we're not ignorant. But for people who are, and who may sit and say, oh, I'm not racist, I've got black friends, but I'd never let my daughter marry a black person, then I don't understand that. So I think it's painting a real picture of what it's like for somebody black to wake up in the morning and before they go to sleep at night. I don't think people really understand what it is like to be black. You know, we don't worry about, I think my parents' generation, you know, my grandparents' generation, when they came here to England back in, when was it? The 50s? Yeah, like late 50s. They were not accepted because they looked foreign, you know. So at the time when, you know, families wanted places to stay, it was no dogs, no Irish, no blacks, no Turks as well. And people are forgetting that. And from that moment, yes, the Turks and the black people created communities and sort of stuck together. But what happened along the way for that to sort of get messed up in a way where you wouldn't let your neighbor who is black marry your daughter? What happened? It's like, yeah, we wanted to carry on with these cultural traditions that were created in Cyprus, that actually we tried to carry on here so our culture wouldn't die to some degree. But actually in London, it's a multicultural society. Little Emine or little Errol is going to go to school with a little Raj and a little Adrian. Do you see what I mean? And the Cypriots back home, they don't understand that, because generation after generation, it's Turks. But here, it's like you can't restrict who your daughters and sons are going to sort of marry or try and force them to marry Turks, because actually we're living in a society where we're human and we don't actually really, we shouldn't be seeing race anymore, because we're so integrated with other cultures. And we, you know, even down to our cooking at home, we cook different recipes. And when we go to Cyprus, they're like, oh, what's that? It tastes like a bit Indian. And it's like, oh, bloody hell. Like, they've never even tried a bit of curry powder before. They used to eat in plain dolma, you know, and all these, the same foods. And it's like, wow, we're introducing them to spice. Like, what is going on, you know? But I think what we need to do is, that's why I've asked my husband to come on today, because I think people need to get an understanding of somebody's lifestyle since they were born. And Matt will tell you the struggles that he has faced as a mixed race person in London. You know, I can tell you some of the microaggressions, like we were talking about earlier, the small, you know, racist remarks that I've experienced. But I don't experience racism from the moment I get up, because since my grandparents came here, things have slowly started to change, because more and more, you know, migration has taken place. So socially, the lighter your skin is, you know, even if you're a foreigner, you are accepted to some degree. But the darker your skin goes, we don't like them. So it's the cycle starting all over again. So what I'm trying to say is, like, we wake up in the morning, we can go to work and not get harassed, because we don't really, you can't tell what we look like. Some of us Turks look Indian, some of us look really Italian, some of us look English even. My dad looks a little bit Jewish. So you don't really know where we're from. So you can't kind of target. But a black person, you can't wake up in the morning and hide your skin. You know, you can't pretend to be something that you're not. You know, there's obviously completely different subject, but in relation, again, like the LGBT community, they have it hard, but they can walk around and you won't know that somebody is gay. You know, they can disguise it so they're not a target for any hate crimes. But when you're black, you walk out in the street and you're praying that someone doesn't, you know, give you a funny look or isn't worried about crossing the road to not getting robbed. And this is probably where Matt's going to step in as a man.
It's quite interesting, really. So Kaz is right. She said that people can appear differently. I can't wake up and change the color of my skin. I can shave my beard off and get less looks because I might look less aggressive without a big bushy beard. But what's the most important thing is that we learn to respect each other. So just like Emine said earlier, it's about respect and equality. So when we got married, it's very old-fashioned, respecting cultural ties. My dad sat down with her dad and her dad, and they spoke to each other. and I had to ask for permission
From
from
my
her
dad.
family in front of everyone. So we had two different generations, old generations. I'm talking about people who now, my grandfather's in his 90s. He comes from a small island with a very similar mentality to a lot of the older generation of the Turkish Cypriots. So they bring their ties and what they grew up being taught by their parents and their parents' parents. But the world has changed. We live in Tottenham, for instance, so I'll walk out of my door and I might hear 15 different languages before I get to the tube station. I'm just fortunate that I can speak 2 of them. And my Turkish might be quite bad, but it shocks people. And it's just like Emine said, and what Shaz said, there are black Turks as well. I've been in Istanbul, I've been in different places in Turkey, and because I can speak Turkish, people don't even bat an eyelid and presume I'm Turkish. But in London, we still want to separate people. And you're bang on the money, Hassan, when you said it, we do need to talk about Black Lives Mattering. Because if we can't show the same amount of respect for every life, we can't talk about all lives mattering.
Definitely.
And as a community of people, I'm so proud of seeing you guys actually putting this forum together and seeing the comments and people understanding that it's not about people being born racist. It's about the environment and the conditioning we receive, the schools we go to, whether we grew up in a council flat or whether we grew up in a big house in the countryside. If we don't understand and learn to respect each other, we're not going to get to where we need to get to.
Just on the point, and I saw.
I suppose.
Sorry?
Sorry,
That's okay. No,
I just wanted to address a post that some.
Yeah,
I didn't mean to cut you off.
From Elin Meto. I saw it go past me. And he made a really good, valid point. None of us, and I think Matt just said it as well, no one is born a racist. No one. Okay? My belief is it's a learned behaviour. It's a learned behaviour because when we're kids, when we're babies, and everyone's seen that advert, it's been out a few years now, it was on YouTube, those 2 little kids, have you seen them? Like, I think they're 2 years old, running towards each other because they're going to see each other from nursery. There's a little black boy and a little white kid. Why don't those kids see colour?
They don't see colour. They need to see colour.
Exactly. So we are not born racist. We're not.
100.
It is a learnt behaviour. It's either learnt from your family, it's learnt from, like you say, from school, or it's learnt from the people you mix with, or it's culturally. It is learnt behaviour. I live in a predominantly white, English white area. Yeah, I don't live in London. I live outside of London. When I moved to this area, I was 6 years old. We were the only, there was an Asian family and there was us. Everyone else was white, English, British, whatever you want to say. I was the only foreign kid in my school. There were no black kids at our school. Obviously later on, as you say, migration. But when I came here, there were no black families. Why am I not a racist? Why? It's learnt behaviour. It's what you teach your kids from when they're small. Like I used that example of those 2 little kids running towards each other. Why do they not see colour? Why do they not realise that one's black and one's white? Why?
Can I respond to that? Can I just respond to that? Sorry, Oz. Firstly, I agree with you. It has a lot to do with your environment and what your parents have been taught. But I also think media, politics, got a massive impact on it. They want to divide. I mean, let's all just understand this, yeah? I mean, they want riots to happen. They've been pushing for a civil war from the start. They tried it with the Muslim community, yeah? They've been pushing the black community to have civil war for the past 4 or 5 years, intensely murdering black people, and they haven't taken a bait because they've tried to deal with it in a more constructive manner. You know what I mean? They don't want riots, they don't want to fight, they don't want to kill other people. They've had enough murder in their lives. Yeah. Last year they were drawing children out of schools. Imagine your child is in school and a teacher phones the police on your 6-year-old, and the police were drawing out people's kids and taking them to the police station. So they wanted this. And furthermore, the riots here weren't initiated by the black community. Black community weren't burning their own shops down. Yeah, they're dealing with it in the right manner. They're burning government buildings and police stations. Yeah, I don't blame them. I'm 100% behind them. But I do believe there are people working in the background to make black people look bad, right? And secondly, I just want to address this post from Mim's Cast. Thanks for adding your post. And I think it's really important that people share all their views. This ain't just about everyone being nice. We love black people. It's not about that. I think it's about,
This one, Obla?
this one that you just pulled up. George Floyd was killed by a white cop for reasons that we will find out when he goes on trial. We don't know that racism played a big part in it. Well, actually, I disagree with you. I think racism was clearly, and it has been demonstrated over the last, I don't know how many years, how many black people have been murdered, not just men, women, children. I've shared a lot of posts on my Facebook. A young girl of 12 was dragged out of school and beaten by a police officer for what? That's blatant racism. And it has also been proved that white supremacy has been embedded into the police force. Not the police are racist, let's make that clear. I do believe the government are playing a big part in embedding these people to create such situations, yeah? They're taking black people out. So it doesn't matter if he goes on trial, it doesn't matter, no one should be interested in what he's got to say. He's blatantly a racist. He put his hands in his pockets and he laughed by the man for his last breath.
100%.
Right?
100%. I don't know how anyone can see that.
Say, yeah, I'm not racist, yeah, and I object to the Black Lives Matter. Like, you're totally contradicting yourself. I really want you to define what you mean by that. I'm here to challenge people's views. I'm not here to oppress anyone or shut you down. I want to hear your opinion because I want to know what you're thinking. I want to know where your mind is at, how you was raised, and what you've been exposed to actually have that kind of mentality that you can say, yeah, that. You're not racist, but you object to Black Lives Matter. Why is it people? Why would you object to that slogan? And it causes division and divide.
Just to follow on that, sorry, Hassan, I think you're absolutely right. And I think if we don't talk about the institutions that we have that serve our society, the schools, the police, the government, and the politicians, we're missing a point. We're each responsible for representing our community. And just like you guys are doing by building a platform and talking about stuff, we have to expect exactly the same from those in power. After all, we put them in power. So when people are dismissive of raising an issue or using a tagline such as Black Lives Matter, it could make us question what's leading them to believe that that's the acceptable way to help deal with a problem. And I think if we choose to kind of brush a lot of these conversations under the carpet, we're not helping to re-educate them. So just like you said about having 50 million racists and 50 million not racists and bringing that number down over years, if we don't forcefully make sure people have the ability to learn something new by each time we have a conversation, we're not playing our part. So I think it's good that she actually said that she's got an issue with that and she thinks that it's a problem about black attitude and white privilege, because we can say, actually, well, there's no such thing as black attitude. There is such a thing as a bad attitude and there's such a thing as a good attitude. And depending on the way your parents bring you up, you're going to have one or the other. So I know that my mum and my dad brought me up in a way to have a good attitude. And that means that I respect others and I don't look to someone's race, color, or their monetary standing, whether they drive a BMW or if they drive a Skoda. I care about how positive that person is and whether they can contribute to the world.
But again, as a black man, we were talking about this because he had to, over the years growing up, learn how to speak softly because he didn't want to be seen as an aggressive black man. So learn how to articulate certain things in a way so that people wouldn't think, oh, a dumb black guy.
It's not just a
It's
dumb
like,
black. It's like
aggressive, angry, uneducated, which
like
is normally what.
If I approach you on the street and I haven't shaved, I have generally a big beard. If I was to wear a hoodie and I was to approach you and it was dark, your first thing is you might be slightly feared. Yeah, put up your hoodie. The same way that if you do it, people would be fearful of you. And this is what racism is. It's fear. It's about fear of something that we're not used to.
Mm.
And as communities, we find that a lot of the older generations, because they didn't have the exposure to things that weren't the same as they are, they have this inherent fear. They then pass that fear on to the younger generation. And you're right, things that we see in the media, the TV programs we watch, that all reinforces it. Yeah. So if we're always going to be scared of stuff, we've got a problem with ourselves. It's like when you're a child, you get taught that it's okay to sleep without a lamp on. because you shouldn't be scared of the dark.
Um,
The problem is, why should I be
Is it
scared?
really the way we're raised? Is it really about our families though?
Can I give
And I
you guys an example?
Yeah,
My-
one way though, when Matt was saying about the park, like the way things that we can change now is, how about you don't cross the road when you see a group of black boys? How
They
about you
don't
just
like-
walk past and see what happens? Because
Do you know
probably
what?
nothing will happen.
I
Do you
was
see what?
I was speaking to someone today, and I was like, I'm scared. I've got 4 children, and they're all back to back. So I'm scared when they hit teenagers and they're walking down the street. The person that's walking towards them is going to see them as a gang of youths and assume that they're just hanging out, loitering on the streets, doing up to no good because 3 of them are boys and they're all back to back. That someone's going to think, oh, I better cross the road, and then my children are going to think that that's normal behaviour. Or being stopped and searched, once a week or twice a week, like it's just normal. But I wanted to give you lot an example of something I experienced with my own son. When my son started nursery, he was in reception. They do Black Lives Matter. They do Black History Month, don't they? And in Black History Month, he was reception age, and they did an assembly. And in this assembly, after this assembly, my son come home and goes to me, "Mummy, I don't like Daddy. I hate Daddy." And I was like, "Where's this coming from, Kai?" And he goes, "Because at school they said white people shouldn't like black people and black people shouldn't like white people. But what it is he's misunderstood the assembly and told me he doesn't love Daddy no more because he's white, because he's quite pale. Out of my children, he's the lightest. And he's going to his brother and sister and saying, you're dark, and I'm light and he's light. So we can't like you lot. Mummy, you can't love Daddy. And Daddy, you can't love Mummy." And I had to sit down and break it down to him that whatever he's heard in assembly, he's misunderstood. And I've had to then go back to the school and say, what's gone on in this assembly? Because my son has missed it way off mark. And they basically told me what's happened. And they've had to then do another assembly to basically break it down to these children. Because remember, they're very young and very impressionable, and they can misunderstand things. And basically explain to them that no, this was in the past and this is history, and that now basically everyone should love each other. Because I was mortified for my son to be age 4 or 5 coming home and telling me that he can't love Daddy because of Daddy's skin color, and it took him about a good few months to actually get him over that hurdle because he's so young at the time.
Do you know what, Chanel? It's funny you said it because I've got twins. Like they're 7 now. They're 6 actually. They'll be 7.
Yeah, my son's 7 now as well.
And last year he went to school. One of my boys went to school. I've got twins, right? One's darker than the other, right? And the darker one's Kofi, yeah. And he's gone to school and he was talking to this girl and he's all like really happy. And he's come back and goes, "Daddy, I think I've got myself a girlfriend." I said, "A girlfriend at the age of 6? What are you doing, mate?" So he goes to me, yeah. Next day you come home and I swear, don't you know, it broke my heart. He goes to me, "Daddy, that girl, she's not allowed to be my girlfriend." And I said, "Why is that, mate?" He goes, "Because her mummy won't let her be my girlfriend because I've got a dark skin." I was mortified. It makes me want to cry. It pisses me off so much that these kids are being bred in their little heads at that age that that's what they should think. And my son didn't even know the difference. And what can you do with it? You have to cover it over and try to make you think, no, you're the same as everybody else. Ignore that. And that really pissed me off and that really hurt me. And I know I shouldn't be swearing it. That really annoyed me. And my wife was so angry as well. And she went to the school. And do you know what? The school said, all we can do is talk to the parent, but what else can we do? And it was
like, you need to let them out, because what you've done is you've understood exactly what is the worst fear for every parent. And like we've said before, no child should be impacted by any of these issues. It's our responsibility as adults in this world to make sure that we prevent that. And I can see that you're doing it. So hats off to you and so much respect to you being a father and being a responsible role model, because that's what we need. We need more people to stand up and actually talk about these issues and take ownership of them. Yesterday, I saw a beautiful thing. I saw two black girls speaking to a Turkish girl about how all of these issues have actually happened. And I kind of stood back and listened for a while. And what struck me was the discord that they had with the way that society is. And if we can allow society to even make a young child feel sad like that, surely we as adults have got a lot to do and a lot of change needs to be done. And if
A lot of education needs to be done, man.
Exactly. If it starts with Black Lives Matter, then moves on to Every Lives Matter, we're getting there. But we have to have the starting point.
You are so right. And Hassan, I love you. You know I love you. I can see all the messages, yeah? And this is what's upsetting, and this is what breaks my heart. And yesterday was a really, it was an important day. And I just want to say this as well. Whatever is happening in the world, yeah, we are going to promote it, whether it's about Black, whether it's about Asian, whether it's about Indian, whether it's about Chinese, we live in the UK, we're Turkish Cypriot. Why do we celebrate Christmas? Why do we celebrate Christmas? We all celebrate Christmas, don't we? Yeah? Why do we? Okay. Well, the majority of us do, Shez. Okay, here. We celebrate Christmas. So we're going to put up when it's Christmas, I'm going to do a post, Merry Christmas. Yeah? If that's offensive to anyone, I apologize right now, but we live in the UK. Yeah? Like I said at the beginning, we need to educate people. We need to be tolerant. When we put a post up, you don't agree, that's fine. Have the conversation with the member, whoever's put the post up. Have a conversation, but have an articulate conversation. Have a reasonable conversation. You don't need to start calling each other names. You don't need to start swearing at each other. That doesn't help. And yeah, you know what? Yesterday, and like Hassan said, not just today, but tomorrow and the next day and forever, Black lives do matter. And yeah, people got upset because they're then coming back saying, yeah, but all lives matter. Like Matt said, and I think we've all said, of course, every life matters. Every person matters in this world. Every single human being matters in this world, okay? But what I get upset about is we are trying to put this across. We are trying to show people that as a community, we need to be accepting. We don't need to, every time we put a post up, and it's not necessarily about Turkish Cypriots. Why do we have to turn it round? Straight away, we do a 180, yeah, and it's all about the Turks. No, this post wasn't about us yesterday. Yesterday was not about our community. It was about Black Lives Matter, like we keep saying. Yeah, and I really get annoyed, and I'm sorry, I'm an emotional nightmare, and I apologize to everybody, but this is how I am, and that's me, because I care. And if I didn't care, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. I care about our community. I care about our people. We have gone through, the world is going through one of the worst things ever. We're all going through this pandemic. It hasn't chosen Black or white or Greek or Turkish or Spanish, has it? No, everyone in this world.
No, but people have.
But this is what I'm trying to say. We need to come together. For everything. And yeah, I'm going to say it again. Of course, everyone matters. But you know what? We need to support this. We need to stop this inane intolerance that Turkish Cypriots have. We are passionate people. Put our passion behind something, yeah? Put it behind the cause instead of having a go at each other, instead of calling each other names and, swearing and have the respect. My opinion may be different to your opinion. You know what? I respect you. I respect that. We've come a long way. I'm obviously probably the oldest out of all of you here, okay?
Never.
My parents or my grandparents perhaps had different views. When I was young, and I got to about 14, 15, and that was the time you got to get ready to get married. It was like back in my day, that's how it was, yeah. And they were like, not necessarily my family, but you could hear it. Not just to me. I know a lot of friends, cousins experience the same thing. Aman Arab getirmeye, huh? Why? Did they have 7 heads and I didn't realise? Why? What's the difference? I married a Turkish Cypriot. That went Pete Tong, yeah? There's good and bad in everyone. It don't matter. It does not matter. And this is what we need to get across. This is what we need to get across to our community. It's not always about us. It's not always about the Turkish cause or the Cypriot cause or what happened to us. No one is denying what happened to us and our community and our society. But we need to open our eyes. There is more happening in this world, yeah? We do not live in a secular community. We do not. We do not. And we're going to keep sharing. And in any festival, anything, all around the world, we're going to be putting it out there. So if people take offense or take umbrage, do you know what? You need to educate yourselves.
Can I say something?
Please do.
Sorry. I'm admin on another group, and I shared the post that I was going to be on here live tonight. And the amount of things that I got sworn at, I got told all sorts of things. They were sharing. I don't want to say it on here just because obviously it's a different group. It's another Turkish Cypriot group.
You're more welcome to say it if you want to. It's not a problem.
On the Turkish
I think you
Cypriot
should share it.
singles group, I'm an admin. I created the group for Turkish Cypriot singles Get Ready to Mingle group. And the amount of response I got under the post that I literally was so frustrated that I'm trying to explain to them, yes, all lives do matter. We're not disputing that. Yes, Turkish people matter and everybody else matters too. Yes, we are. Sorry, I know you said you don't want to say that, you know, about ethnic minority. We are an ethnic minority in the UK. I know you don't like me saying that, but that's what I was trying to explain that to them. I'm like, but the people that get treated the worst are Black people. So we need to start from the bottom, because if we can change people's racist views from about Black people and the way that they view Black people, then it will change for everybody. The dynamics will change. I was speaking to someone and they're like, the world's athletes, the basketball players and so forth, are Black people are leading in those. How comes when it comes to government and into higher positions, when it comes to MPs and so forth, how comes they're not high up in there? How comes they can't progress when it comes to politics and things like that, but they can progress when it comes to something as a skill? And I'm like, you're right, it's true, because they should be able to have the same opportunities and take that opportunity. They should be able to go further up in their career just like everybody else can, you know, when it comes to pay and to their equalities, when it comes to, I don't know, I just can't explain it. It's just, to me, I don't understand it. So because I don't understand it, it frustrates me to even try and have an argument, civilized argument with someone, because my emotions take over that argument. It's like, I just want people to understand, you know, just like I bleed, they bleed, you know, just like I come to this world and one day I'm going to die, and so are they. So what is the difference? What, their color of their skin should define how I should treat them or how they should be treated? I mean, I think I was at 12 years old. Oh, you know, your brother can marry whoever he wants, but you can only marry a Turkish Cypriot. Why? Why does he get different treatment to I do? How comes I'm not? So my response was that, Tamam baba, don't worry. I don't get to the gym site ever. And at the time I was a kid and I never even thought it was going to happen or I was going to do that. It was just a natural response to be, you know, a rebellious child. And then I did it in the future. And then I had 4 beautiful children that are mixed, and I wouldn't want to change who they are or their heritage. You know, they come from 6 different islands. They've got 6 different places to visit. Well, you know, I wish I had that, you know, saying I'm from this place, that place, and this place. I've got so many places to be able to visit. At least they've got different cultures coming into them. Do you know what I mean?
Can I say something?
Yeah.
So when it comes to educating our own community members, some people might be asking, well, how can I do that? So, for example, it's like, you know, you might go to your nene's house for people who don't speak Turkish, you might go to your nan's house once a week, you know, to have your dinner and stuff like that. And if there's certain conversations, you have to have them. You have to bring them up. You know, these difficult conversations with some of the older generation, they have to be addressed. And you can't fear what grandparents' responses are going to be, because we already know what their responses are going to be. So if you're going to upset them, you know, you need to be able to comfort them in the same way that you would a child almost, because you're trying to educate them. And if they say certain comments, they need to be nipped in the bud. when it comes to, I haven't got kids, but you know, when I do have children one day, I'm going to be looking at the books that, you know, the schools have in their libraries. You know, when my kids take out books and stuff, look at the illustrations. Are they inclusive enough? When I say inclusive, I don't mean just diverse in terms of black and white. Are they inclusive? Do they include people with scarves on their heads? Do they include people with disabilities? Do they include people who wear glasses or have ginger hair? This is inclusivity. And I think it's not really about diversity anymore in books. It's about being inclusive to everyone, disabilities 100%. And all sorts. So when some of our Cypriots are often like saying, oh yeah, all lives matter and stuff like that, you have to get into the difficult conversations with them. And really, like, if you're so passionate about Black Lives Matter, and if you're so passionate about changing the world, you need to do something about it. You can't just say, oh, I'm not a racist, and my kids aren't going to be a racist. Yeah, but what else are you doing? Because what you do impacts everything around you. So, like, I stood in unison with two of my best friends today, and they're Black. And 3 years ago, when I was diagnosed with cancer, 3 years ago today, they sat with me in a restaurant. We had our photo taken. They just, you know, I didn't know jack about wigs, because in our culture, we don't really wear wigs unless, you know, you're about to lose your hair. And, you know, two of my friends who have to wear wigs because, again, they're trying to conform to society's ideologies of what beauty is, because of the, you know, they don't want to have their natural hair out because of the way that they're seen as too ethnic, for example. So my friends have been wearing wigs since, you know, the age of whatever in school. So they came with me to buy my wig. And like I said, 3 years ago today, we had a picture taken. They stood in solidarity with me when I was facing the biggest fight of my life, cancer. So today I stood in unison with them because this is their lives. They can't understand what a cancer patient goes through, you know, because they're not the ones having chemotherapy. Like, I was having a discussion with my friend today. All I can do is explain to them what it was like, explain my emotions of how I felt when I'd sit in a chemo unit with all people over the age of 50, me being the youngest person there, explaining how I felt knowing that I might be infertile forever after treatment, explaining how I felt to lose my hair as a woman. You know, these conversations need to be had with your Black friends and family members.
Definitely.
And like I said, you need to nip things in the bud. If you hear certain comments being made, jump into those conversations. If something happens in school, go to the head teachers and make a massive fuss about it, because it's unacceptable. What your son went through, that is unacceptable.
100%.
I wouldn't stop there. I wouldn't stop there with saying, oh, the parents.
Do you know what, Kaz? The problem with it was, right, is I had to let my wife deal with it because I was so angry, that I weren't so angry with the child because the child doesn't know what she's doing. I was so angry with the parents. And I'm not going to lie to you, I'm 6'3", 21 stone, right? I wanted to grab her mum, right? And I wanted to kick her up and down the street. That's what I wanted to do, but that was not going to solve my problem.
Exactly. And what will solve the problem for ignorance such as that is education. So as far as the teacher was concerned, the parent had been spoken to. That's great, but what else are you intending to do? Because overnight, one conversation is not going to change that parent's mentality. I don't want to put my child in a position, okay? I don't want my child growing up hating the color of their skin and then having to bleach it at the age of 15. I would stand.
I'd like to share.
When it comes
to cut you off,
the hair thing, sorry.
I really want to share what racism, the impact it had on me from my own community, from my own family. And we was talking about how how you're raised, how your family raised you. I was raised in a very racist environment, but I'm not racist at all. Well, I have some issues with some cultures because of certain things, but I wouldn't call myself racist. And the impact that racism had on my life was up until the time where I was complying with my culture, my family's expectations, I was supported in every way, what job, etc. I had good prospects of maybe having a home, financially being supported. But when that changed and the choices I made, which actually wasn't really my own choice, actually, I've actually written, I'll do a blog, which is called Daily Shush, and I experienced domestic violence within my first relationship. It was black. I mean, Turkish, English, whatever, men can be violent. But it wasn't my choice to be in this relationship. But nonetheless, I had 2 children by him. And before the domestic violence happened, the minute that my community and my family found out that I was, in a relationship with a black man, I was completely ostracized. I wasn't supported in any way. I had to hide my pregnancies. My nan would walk past me in the street like I didn't exist. My children were excluded. One example, my sister's eldest daughter, my eldest daughter, similar age, a couple of years apart. We arrived at my mum's and my aunties were sitting there, and her, my niece walks in. Everyone's like, "Hi, I'll give her a kiss." And my daughter walks in and it's like she doesn't even exist. Makes me really emotional and really angry. And I was angry for a very long time. And I've spent my whole life raising my children and challenging this bullshit that we've had to live with as Cypriot women. I think it's a bit different for the men. I think some of their lives are accepted and their choice of partner. But for us, we're extremely, even now I'm ostracized. I mean, I've had no financial support from my family. Anything I've done is stupid and it's shit. You made your bed, you've got to lie in it, all that crap. My children are not supported either by my family, And despite them not saying it out loud, I know it's simply because my daughters are of black heritage and I made the choices that I made. And I stand by them. I wouldn't take nothing back that I've done in my life. The only thing that I would say I would change is the attitudes of my family. And specifically, I wouldn't blame my parents. I don't blame my parents because it's the way they were raised. But I do blame my siblings, for example, and my cousins, some of who have got that kind of attitude towards me. And their lives are different now because I'm more the older generation of the kids, And so I was treated very differently. I was ostracized. I was verbally abused. I was attacked by my auntie. I've had all kinds of crap in my life. And I live my life on my own, basically. And I excluded myself from the Turkish community for this reason. And I've got to say that you guys have really given me a lot of hope. That our Turkish community is not in the state that I thought it was, and my children, they shy away from their Turkish heritage because they don't respect it because of the racism that they've experienced, And I was talking to them about the post I put up today and the conversations that we're having, which has really inspired them, And I think this is key. It's not just about the way we're raised because like my brothers, and my sister, they were born in the UK. Do you know what I mean? Like my sister ostracized her own daughter. I mean, she might not let me talking about this, but she ostracized her own daughter because she was with a partner who's of black heritage. At the end, she's got a grandchild now. She's accepted it. But why put your child through all that torture? You know what she used to say? To her daughter, I don't want you being in a black relationship because of what I went through. I was ostracized. No one cared about you. No one wanted. I was basically an end lover. I've been spat at. Right, and these are the things that need to change because my life, the struggles that I've lived through were really unnecessary. Yeah, if I had the support and love from my family, which I've got now, in respect of my mum, and my dad's not alive anymore, but like my second partner, he's an amazing man. He's a fantastic man. And he always said to me, I'm not proving myself to nobody. Yeah, I ain't proving myself because of the colour of my skin. I'm a good man and that's that. And when he met my dad loved him instantly. Yeah, they were right about my first partner, but I think it is education and my family have come around in such a manner, like my mum especially. My mum loves my partner. She makes him food, she calls him round, you know what I mean? There's a lot of respect there, but it's a little bit too late because the damage is done. I'm scarred. Yeah, I've got a lot of damage has been done. And I've lived through things like, one of the things I always say to my kids, no matter who you meet in your life in respect of a partner, I want to meet first because I was ostracized in a way that led to the lifestyle that I ended up living in. Yeah, the abuse that I had to put up with, So, and again, that's, leading by what we live and what we see. And so going out to the Cypriot community, for me, eyes wide shut, keep your eyes open. If you give birth to your child, love them. Doesn't matter their choices. I raise my kids, as queens. Yeah, they love themselves, their culture, their skin. They got tattoos. They're bisexual. Who gives a shit? As long as they're happy. I'll make my choices and I don't care what anybody says. And I think that's how, if we all live like that, then the world will be a better place.
You know what you just said about what you've experienced? I haven't experienced half of what you've experienced, but I really can relate to when you've said about the fact that you made some of the wrong choices that you made was because you didn't have your family's back in. I can relate to 100. I've just literally escaped near enough a 10-year domestic violence and cheating and abusive relationship. But I think I would have left much sooner if I had my family's backing. If I didn't always feel like I'm going to get the I told you so's, if I wasn't going to get I told you that this was going to happen. If you listened to me before, this weren't going to happen to you. The more that they said to me that, you know, the more I knew that this is exactly what they expected to happen in my relationship, the more I stuck through it, for the longer I stuck through it. I can't even speak. But what you're saying, I can really understand, because the more I knew, because I knew that my family expected it to fail from day one, and I wanted to prove them wrong. It became a prove them wrong kind of thing. No, I'm not going to show them that he is exactly what they said he is. And because of that, I had to then turn around and go, you know what I'm doing is damaging my children now. And because of that, I had to walk away. And I only left, and a lot of my, like the friends that I've made from the singles group and that all know my story, because when I created the group, I was like, look, I'm only admin, I'm not single. But through this isolation, I've left. I now live outside London. I've had to leave during this isolation and move house. But the only person that I have who's had my back is my mum. So I can understand that, you know, certain times, like, your mum is your rock. Do you know what I mean? And because I knew I was disappointing my mum, and I don't think it was because of the colour of his skin. I think it was more because of who he was as a person. But I feel like I just don't know. Sorry, someone else talk. I got to take.
No, guys, just cutting you off there. Go on. What I want to do quickly is I just want to talk. I just want to say, like, a lot of comments coming in from people watching, a lot of very good positive comments, a lot of comments that are coming through, which I know I keep flashing up as we're going along. To be fair, I've got one of my mates watching, and he posted earlier on, and I can't find his post, and he just messaged me and said, "You're not going to put my post up then, or what?" So I want to put a question out to you guys, and someone to answer, which is a very good question, right? His name's Matt Ellis. He says, "Is holding on to your Turkish tradition, is holding on to the traditional Turkish Cypriot values of the older generation part of the problem? If we are all going to evolve in our views towards black people, writing our own heritage internationally." Does that make sense to you? I wanted him to post. I can't find it so I can post it up. But
Tell him to repost it.
That's what I said to him. Matt, repost it and then we can put it up, man.
Bruv, come on.
Come on, brother.
I mean, look, our old heritage, yeah, like I was so angry with my dad for a very, very long time. But I'll tell you what, yeah, he's gone now. Yeah, I respect everything that man taught me. I've learned a lot in life through my parents. Yeah, that side of it, yeah, it's embedded. And I think it will continue to be embedded. I don't think you can eliminate it totally. Yeah, but we can make change. And I mean, look, the younger generation, yeah, we've got more and more mixed heritage kids coming into the forefront. You know what I mean? They're gonna be the ones that's gonna make the difference. Our heritage is our heritage. You know what I mean? I don't think that's
racist. Sorry to cut you up before we lose it. So here's the message. He's holding on to your traditional Cypriot values of the older generation part of the problem. If we are going to evolve in our views towards black people, writing our own heritage intentionally. Sorry, not
internationally.
Yeah, internationally. Yeah. Need to clean my glasses from all the crying.
How can you write your own heritage? I mean, I understand writing a better future. You can't rewrite heritage, but I suppose in some respects, heritage is beginning to change. But I think the key is here. A lot of people don't understand their heritage. Like I said, yeah, I am not Turkish. I'm Ottoman. Yeah, Ottomans are not Turkish. We are of mixed heritage. And if people can identify with their own history and their own heritage, then I think that can eliminate a lot of racism.
Can I
I think
Yes.
quickly say something?
Yeah, I am a stronger person, Kelly. Sorry, Kelly Ahmed, you're right. I am.
I was literally just listening to all your stories about like how you like obviously experienced this and whatnot, and I was just thinking, I was like, well, actually, not. I don't know if I can say experienced still. It kind of is like the same situation, but I remember when we was younger, we was moving houses, and my mum was trying to find a flat for us to stay, and we found a flat, but there was a woman. She was like, "You can't live here." Like, she knew that we were like from a different country and we were foreign and whatnot, and she went to her. She was fully shouting at my mum. She goes, "You can't live here," and she was like, "Why can't I live here?" She goes, "Because you're foreign." And that day, my mum called up the police, yeah, and the police was like, "What are you trying to say?" She goes, "She can't live here. She can't live here." She was screaming at the police saying she can't live here because she's foreign. And that day, it still gets me from this day from now on. It still gets me because how is someone telling my mum that they can't live in a certain place because of their foreign? And she called the police and she said, "Take me to court right now and I'll prove you wrong." And my mum won. I'll tell you that my mum won that court because she's saying I can live here because even if I'm foreign, you can live anywhere. How's that woman screaming at my mum in the middle of the road saying you can't live here because you're foreign? And I remember when I was little, and this is why we had to move house, because our car, like when we had a not bad childhood, but I got attacked, basically, not attacked, but basically because we were foreign and there was these like teenage boys and whatnot. They used to sit on my mum's car, my dad's car, and they used to sometimes smash up cars and everything. So they used to like be in a bad neighborhood kind of thing. And I remember they used to like smash up my dad's car sometimes because he would sometimes get like angry that they'd sit in his car, but they were like, "No, we're gonna smash it up because you're foreign and whatnot." And like they wouldn't smash up my mum's car, but they'd smash up my dad's car, and we're just like, "Wait, what's going on? Like they're both the same. Like why? How are you smashing up cars?" Like, and it got so bad to the point where I was playing out, and I can't remember how old, probably about 3-4 years old, something like that. And this was like around winter time, and there was loads of snow, and they got a massive stone and they put it in the snow and they fully chucked it at me, cut me right there on my chin because I was foreign. They cut me and they took me I had to go to hospital because I had a massive cut. No, it wasn't on my chin, it was on my head. And I had a massive cut because I was foreign. They fully threw something at me.
So you know what you're saying about getting abused? I think this is what the older generation sometimes are holding on to.
Yeah.
The fact that they received so much abuse, when they came here, and it's almost like they wanted to protect their culture. So they don't really want to let anyone else in because everyone else was so rude and abusive. It's like, well, why should I let you in? Okay, so my neighbour's friendly to me or whatever, but we've got to stick together. Us Cypriots, we have to stick together because everyone hates us. But then you can't taint everyone with that brush. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's what happens. People take one thing, like one piece of trauma, for example, and they hold on to it. So what we have to remember is a lot of the older generation, be it Black, Cypriot, whatever, they are slightly traumatized with some of the experience, rightly so, with the experiences that they've gone through as, when they first came here or whatever, because the majority of Cypriots here, I'm second generation immigrant. My parents were born in Cyprus, so it's still fairly new, for example, but they're holding on to a lot of those values, like what Matt was saying, because they got so much of what what's your name again? Sorry, Zivar.
Zivar, yeah.
Zivar. So things like that. So it's like, all right, well, we've got to stick together. And like someone was saying here that, like Arap çocuk geldi düğüne. Like someone said that. It's so true because like it's like we love our culture. We want to share it with people. It's like, do you want to try my dolma? I make the best dolma. I make the best food. We want to share all these elements with everyone else because we love our culture. But then we don't want to share our people, for example, with others. and you know, share the beauty that our culture has to offer with other cultures and stuff like that. And when Matt comes with me to weddings as well, we get stared at. And I don't really go to weddings because of that, because like they're staring at him.
Look,
Like
the thing that's really funny about. Sorry, go ahead, Vida.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to answer the question about I can see the question right there from Dennis. What area is this? This is in the Sidcup area that I was in. It's like literally just it was my old area. I have friends living there. And it's literally just like 2 minutes away from me. And yeah, that's where basically I just kind of got attacked there. So yeah, carry on. Sorry about that.
What was Matt saying?
I was going to say, the funny thing is, obviously, I can understand Turkish. So, Susie, earlier on, you were asking if I understood what that was said. I was like, yeah, I understood it. That's why I laughed when it was said. But it's like, when I read the comment about being at weddings and you hear, oh, come here, little black kid. It's like, you don't need to call a kid by colour. Really and truthfully, you've got good kids, you've got bad kids. If a kid's bad, you're going to say, oh, he's a little ghetto buckler or something like that instead. It's simple things like that. But the more we learn and the more we see, the more we're less inclined to do stuff. So now people see that I understand Turkish. They might not speak Turkish around me. Instead, they'll just try and whisper. Or they'll just come and speak to me and realize, oh, are you Turkish? And I'll be like, no, but I'm married to a Turkish.
Yeah, and it took a lot for us to be together as well, because my family found out about us not through me. I didn't even get the chance to see how, like, you know, we have to keep these relationships secret, for God's sake. You know, we can't even say that we're going out with somebody else, or God forbid, a person of color. I was crapping my pants at the thought of, you know, telling my parents about Matt. I wasn't even ready. I didn't know how, you know, Matt was like, you know, you've eventually got to tell your family. And I'm like, I'm not ready to tell my family. And then someone decided to, I can't even remember how it went, but someone told my family about Matt. And the day of his dad's funeral is when my parents found out. So there's me trying to, you know, comfort my boyfriend at the time. And then I went home and experienced hell. Like, and my dad didn't speak to me, you know. It was really difficult. My dad was upset. It's almost like someone had died, you know. But eventually they came around, because my dad had this stereotype of what a mixed race person was in his head, and he just had this stereotype of, oh, he's going to be an uneducated moron, you know, drop down baggy jeans on the street. Well, actually, he's studying politics and law. Do you know what I mean? And I had to defend him so much. And like Chanel was saying, it's like you've got to almost fight to be with this person. And even if your relationship might be going downhill, it's too bloody late. You can't turn back. It's like there's so much pressure, you know, when you do tell your family about someone that you're going out with who is a person of color. It's like, oh my God. But then eventually my parents came round. They met with Matt, and my dad actually apologized to Matt for being so hard on him. And my dad calls him more than me. They've got a great relationship now. And I persevered, you know. I said, well, Dad, you know, if we're Muslim or whatever, you know, we have to accept the color, you know, Muslimans, we don't see colour. Yeah, but Cypriots do. You know, things that chat.
I think,
like,
you know,
sorry.
It was like,
you know, when I got with my children's dad, and then I fell pregnant for my first son, my dad was like, I told you, to my mum, he's telling my mum because my mum told him, I told you she's not allowed to have children before she gets married. And that's it. He cut me off until my son was born. He didn't speak to me. He refused to talk to me. And only when I took him to Cyprus, when he was 1 year old, I took him to Cyprus, and my son was held by my dad, that everything had changed. The whole relationship and dynamics of everything, that he got to hold his grandson. That's when I think it made a difference. And then he started to accept, okay, fine. You know, I don't think my dad's thing was necessarily maybe the colour issue. It was more of, we've had a child before she's married. What are we going to say to the family? And that's the thing. A lot of people are reacting and thinking about what the rest of the family are going to say, and they're trying to
Absolutely.
act on it rather than being like, do you know what? I'm okay with it. You know, we live in a society and a thing where people are having children out of marriage, and at the end of the day, I think we've got to show people that it doesn't matter what everyone else is doing, and if you know, a Cypriot person decides to be with a Cypriot man or a woman, as a family, we should support them in whatever they do, or whether they're black, white, blue, or green. It shouldn't matter. We shouldn't change how we're going to support our children or our loved ones because of their decisions. You know, we should back them 100. Sorry, go on, Em.
No, so I was reiterating exactly what I completely agree with you, 100%, and also with Kaz as well. I think, particularly the older generation, you know, of Turkish Cypriots in our community, they worry so much about, and I know we said it earlier and we were laughing, but it's true. They worry so much about what Ali Mehmet Abidem Maidem's going to say, Aman Allah, and what they're going to say, right? It doesn't matter. You know, I've got 2 grown-up daughters. One of them is married. One of them, she's not married yet. I've always said to them, I don't care who you marry. For me, as long as they respect you, number one, they're nice to you, they're nice people. That's all I want to know. I don't care. I honestly, wholeheartedly, but I know that my older generation, like my parents, they've come around a little bit because things have changed. But my grandparents, bless them, they're no longer here. They weren't going to have it. But to me, people are people, like I said, and as long as they're respectful, and that's the number one thing, they've got to respect your son or your daughter. You know, they've got to be nice people. It doesn't matter. I'm seeing some of the comments, and there's one comment that I've lost who said it now, and it's kind of stuck, and I apologise, but it said that Turkish women are with black men and they are scared to get out of those relationships, even though they're being beaten up. Right, I just want to say this. I have not experienced domestic violence, but I know there are lots of people, and there are people that have been very open this evening and have said that, okay? And they have told us their stories, and it's not easy for them to tell.
Friends that are in the same situation I wasn't. But
I find that comment, okay, it's a racist comment, it's a disrespectful comment. Why are you saying that only black men? You're saying black men are the only men that hit their wives. No, my friend, whoever you are, sorry. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what colour they are. It doesn't matter where they come from. There's good and there's bad in everyone. And that comment, and no offense, it looks, and I know I sound like my nan now, and I'm sorry, but it looked like a younger generation person saying that. And you know, that's really sad. I'm 47-year-old. I'm nearer 50 than I am 40. And to see a young woman has made that statement, okay, in 2020, this is why we're here tonight doing what we're doing, because those statements should not be made. This time should not be made.
I've got friends suffering due to domestic violence with all different cultural men, with white, with Turkish Cypriot. Sorry, but I'm sure everyone's heard of someone that had experienced domestic violence from a Turkish Cypriot man. Yeah?
Absolutely.
Hello.
Everyone in every family, everyone's heard of somebody. You know, I'm lucky I didn't experience that in my own family.
Thank you, Hassan. That comment right there.
Can I address
this one? Yeah.
Oh.
The one you put across the screen. Sorry.
That's all right.
Okay, so they're suffering. So let's reach out to Turkish women who are suffering for being with black men. Too many suffering in silence.
No,
okay,
I think her point was, no, look, I think what she's trying to say is, let's reach out to Turkish women suffering for being with black men, like, for example, me.
Hey, but there was one previously.
Sorry, my life.
There was one previously where she was saying, I don't know if it was her, so I apologise if it wasn't her. That, you know, they're scared. Domestic violence happens, whatever colour, whatever creed, whatever you are, happens to men and women. It's not just a single-sided thing, okay? It's not just women, it's men also. The whole thing is, and we're getting back to it again, and I know I probably sound like an old, you know, broken record. We need to educate our people. We need to open our eyes, yeah, people. We need to, this community, Turkish Cypriot community, okay, you all need to be together. Over this COVID thing, I've seen such beautiful things. I don't know about you lot, especially on our group. I've seen so many beautiful things. I'm so proud to be a Turkish Cypriot. I'm so proud to be in this community. I see people helping each other daily. We have people messaging us, asking, you know, so can someone go to the shops for them? Can someone do something for them? And do you know what? We're the first people there, aren't we? We're the first people writing our names going, yeah, I can help. Where are you? I can help. Why can't we do this for everything? Why can't we do it for outside the thing that we're comfortable with? You know what? Because that's what we're like that. We don't want to let anyone in. But the world ain't like that anymore. It's really not like that anymore. And to see messages like this makes me sad. Seriously makes me sad. We've got to change.
The good thing about it is people are talking about it. And that's what we need.
Yeah, talking makes change.
And that's something that
Can I address this? Can I please address this? Mustafa Ali. Yeah, I know Cypriot boyhood. It's deal after her thing. She said, I had to hide my race for 10 years. You highlighted that. It's just underneath that young lady's post. He said, yeah, I know a Cypriot boy who turned ghetto, who dressed and talks like that. Right, listen, right, you're doing stereotypes. What is ghetto and what is dressing like that, for one? And don't, you know, look, just say what you've got to say. You know, don't beat about the bush, mate. Say it like it is. I mean, what are you trying to say? Make your point. You know what I mean? Ghetto.
Can I say something? I don't think his yeah.
All the ticket. I don't miss my words, mate. Say it like it is, but still.
Yeah.
Okay, Amar. The point is, the comments are made. It might not be whatever you're saying, but at the end of the day, the knowledge is there to make that kind of comment. If he's trolling, as far as I'm concerned, remove him. I'm a real talker when it comes to that kind of stuff, yeah? I don't mince my words. And if you're going to create friction in a positive environment, either say it like it is. Look, I respect people, yeah, that have their opinion. If you come on in, you say, look, I don't like black people, I'm racist, whatever, listen to my views, I'll respect you. You can't say to me that someone might not be in the right mind or have whatever, learning different, whatever it is that you're trying to say, but it's clear enough has come on here and made that comment, is use specific language, yeah, like ghetto and dresses and talks like that. Yeah. Now people associate, yeah, street language, yeah, ghetto, low batties, all that sort of stuff to black culture. That's such an insult. The black culture is so beautiful. There's nothing negative like that. That comes from, seriously, like this.
That comes from areas and areas, prisons, things like that, where they feel that they've got a persona to try and keep up to.
Well, low batties, do you know where low batties come from? All right, okay, from prisons, yeah?
Yes.
Right, they're not allowed to wear belts, so they take the belts off them. No, this new trend that they created, yeah, like no laces, that comes from prison, yeah? So young people, I used to work with young people, yeah? And police social profile, statistically, they only stop and search majority black young kids, when the young kids I work with were more white than they were black on the streets, all right? So that's all social profiling. Police make it's a big thing. It's not, you know, they say, oh, there's black kids on the street. There's lots of all different kinds of kids. If you go to Stoke Newington, if you go to Tottenham, you know what I mean? If you go to North London, you can have all Turkish young people on the street. Like, come on. But I think these are the kind of comments that create serious stereotypes, and they need to be challenged. And, you know, I want to say to you, Em, about your post, yeah? You know, you're really passionate, because I know you're an admin and you really struggle with the post and some of the things. And you're talking about people arguing. Why can't we just get on? Unfortunately, yeah, you can't communicate with some people.
Guys, just say, sorry. I'll blow 1 minute. Ben Cushing the butt, man. I'm just trying to turn off the mic. So
it's all right. Don't worry. So my point about the post, yeah, is that you can't educate, you can't have constructive debates with everybody, right? Now, if I said the word Greek Cypriot, all hell might break loose, all right? That's a big issue in our community. I mean, how can you eliminate racism when you've got that kind of topic that we can't even discuss when people are coming on and making extreme racist comments? Now, I've removed myself from this group once, yeah, because of the racism that I experienced on here, yeah. And I came back because I spoke to a lovely young man who started off this group, yeah.
Who's
and I'm
that?
really glad I came back.
Is that Hallie?
No comment. All right, and I did, and you know what? I was proud to be part of this group because I ostracised myself from the Turkish community for a long time. And when my mate Mel actually, she added me. She was like, "You've got to be part of this group. It's amazing." And when I come on, I was like, "Wow, look how far we've come as a community as Cypriots." And then someone makes a comment or puts a post on about Greek Cypriots. You know what I mean? And it all comes out. You know. These are the things we've got to start. This is a key factor for racism. That in itself has to be changed. I mean, I know that's not what we're talking about right now, but that's racism in itself.
No, 100%.
You know, it's embedded. So if you can't, as a community, yeah, come to an agreement and understanding that that is wrong, how are we going to move forward with Black Lives Matter? I mean, come on. You know what I mean? And these are and the thing is, yeah, you have to cut. Look, I'm a great believer, yeah. If you're not on the same page as me, bruv, jog on. Yeah, you can't educate everybody, and you just have to cut them off. It's simple as that.
Respect. Do you know what? You mentioned something there, and what was it? I think it was like last week. If I'm right in saying, someone put a post up, said Cyprus has been coronavirus free for X amount of days. Yeah, and they put the Cypriot flag up, not the Turkish Cypriot, not the Greek Cypriot, the Cypriot flag up. Yeah. Oh my God. No one even cared about the fact that there was no coronavirus. They were more worried about the flag that was showing. I mean, what are you guys thinking about when you're doing this? What are you more worried about, the flag or the thingy? No, what they wanted to do, they wanted to have an argument. We had to spend, and I'm so passionate about this. Ask them another. I'm like, guys, I'm not removing posts. I want to see debate, yeah? But we spent so long trying to delete the swearing at each other, trying to delete the attacks at each other. Also,
you've got to remove the people.
You know what? Something. You know, when people ask me where I say to them Cyprus, and they're like, Cyprus? They're like, oh, so you're Greek? I said, no, I'm Cypriot. They're like, so what does that mean? I don't understand. I'm like, I'm from Cyprus. So they're like, what language do you speak? I said, I speak Turkish Cypriot. They're like, oh, so you're Turkish? I'm like, no, I'm Cypriot. Because in the way I was raised, yeah, we're one people. You know, my family are originally from the Greek side. They had to move to the Turkish side once the civil war happened. To me, how I know it is we lived as one. So why do I now have to pick a side on where I belong? You know, it's all to everyone's choice on who they belong to or what they want to say. But if you ask me where am I from, I'm from Cyprus. Because I'm maybe because I'm not part of the older generation that still hold and lived through it, that hold that in them to be like, oh, you know, that they did this to us and they did this to us. But I'm sure in a war, you know, people do things either side. And to me, there's a really good, I think I might have shared it with you guys earlier. I believe in divide and conquer. And I feel like okay, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. What the white people have done is come in and colonize everywhere and divide and conquer everywhere to basically steal whatever they want from that country and take it away. And I shared with you guys that
you shared that with me. Yes,
African thing, and they're talking about looting and what everything's going on in America. And I said, but they looted everywhere first. They looted the diamonds, the oil, the gold, the sugar, the coffee, and everything else that's on that list that I shared with you. And I'm like, I'm not saying looting.
The problem is though, like, so if we look at the white man, right, has been for hundreds of years been doing that to every country. They even came to Cyprus and messed everything up for us. You know, we lived quite peacefully with the Greek Cypriots and, you know, whatever. But when it comes to the whole looting thing, yes, you know, we can agree that windows can be repaired and people are angry now and whatnot. But what it is you've got white people who, fantastic, you know, they're standing in solidarity with, you know, side by side with black people. But what these idiots, white people, are doing is they're going to black neighborhoods. Like, I watched a video today of a woman shouting at predominantly white protesters who were going into these poorer neighborhoods and destroying like banks and charging stations that the homeless people need to use. You know, there are people living in those areas. So why are you destroying poorer neighborhoods and the resources that they need? You know, there's a big immigrant community living there, and they're destroying, you know, their own homes, basically. So instead of going to these big corporations and these big buildings or whatever in cities, they're destroying little neighborhoods. And a lady, a black woman, was like, I live here, I live in this neighborhood, go somewhere else and don't do this, which you can understand. And, you know, someone was mentioning earlier about how, you know, people are laying bricks and stuff and, you know, causing these looting issues, because where did a brick come from in the middle of the city? Like, you wouldn't walk around like London City and find a random brick on the street, would you? Or poles. So like, there's people like instigating and putting these little things around. And even Derek Floyd's brother was saying, like, don't be fooled. You know, they want us to cause violence and stuff like that. So then it could be, the narrative can change what really matters. And when you were talking about, sorry, the drop down, someone mentions about the drop down. Matt wanted to say something about how, you know, kids are acting ghetto, and, you know, they're wearing these trousers low and speak that way. But what are you going to say? I
think, look, people's perceptions can be crazy. If I put on one of those NY baseball hats and I stopped and I said, Wagwan, you'd be like, rah, he probably from a block of flats and he's going to smoke weed and do all of this. If I put on a suit and tie and I speak perfect Turkish or I speak the Queen's English, then I say, oh, Napiosun or something like that, you'll see me different. If I go up to you in the street and I say, oh, Napan Bear, you'll be like, oh, he's from Cyprus. This is the thing. So the way that I choose to talk and portray myself is going to have a big impact on the way you see me. But the way that you view me is going to have a big impact on the way that I then act.
So when you
I can play both parts.
But why should you have to change yourself? You can talk any way you want. Sorry, you should be able to talk any way you want.
So the way that we dress, the way that we look, it doesn't matter. It boils down to two basic principles. First one is respect, and the second one is knowledge. So knowledge is power, but freedom and respect are not a privilege. They're a basic right. No matter where we're from, who our family is, or what we're doing, as long as we impart those values into our children, we impart those values within our communities, and we always continue to push them, we can change perceptions, ideals, and make people understand. And I agree with all of what you've said about being in abusive relationships, and especially with what Em said about it being bad people and poorly brought up men that do that. And women can be abusive too. But what we don't like to do is address these issues. So within every community, within every family, there's going to be what I'm not going to say is the Arab sheep. Forget that. I'm just going to say it's the bad egg. If we don't pull up the bad egg and try and teach that bad egg some manners and some attitude adjustments, they continue to perpetuate the cycle. And then we go around being scared of what might be, what your dayer, what your dazer, what your hala, what your umja's going to say to your dad or to your dede, whatever's going to happen. It's the same in black families, it's the same in white families, it's the same in Jewish families, it's the same in Amish families, it's the same in every single family unit we have. We're all scared of what we don't know. And the more we choose to not discuss it, the less likely we are to solve the problem.
100%.
The whole issue is, it's about making sure we understand that we're starting this conversation with Black Lives Matter because right now it's important. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about how another section of society needs to be valued. But we can't make sure the whole of society is valued if we don't raise up the small groups. So you guys keep doing what you're doing because you're smashing it out the park. But people need to understand two things. It's our duty our responsibility to make sure we continue to have these conversations and challenge people who don't seem to understand or have the education to make a better and more understandable view on what's going on around them.
Someone just said, some people are shallow and narrow-minded, and you can't change them. Can I ask the group, what do you guys think of that?
My thing is I'm gonna keep trying, and I'm gonna die trying, because even if, look, we've got 10,000 people. If I've even changed one person's perception tonight by asking to do this live, then I've achieved something. Obviously, I want more than one person's perception to change, but if even one person, it means that we're working towards it. Do you know what I mean?
I agree with you. I do agree with you, but I think it's also about time we made a stand as well, yeah? And I mean, how many times are you going to go over the same thing and try to educate? I'm done proving myself. I don't want my kids, my daughters, yeah, to have to spend the rest of their lives having to prove themselves. Why should we? If you don't like it, yeah, jog on. That's my aim. All right, you can educate up to a certain point, but someone made a comment about something about you can't change races. If people got a view, if you're, we was talking about this with Hassan earlier, yeah. Once you get to a certain, all right, if you're young, yeah, maybe that can happen. When you get to a certain age in your life, yeah, sometimes there's a big full stop there. People ain't going to change no matter what. They're raised in a certain way. Some people are raised, they've got so much hatred, yeah. You can't change it.
You know what? I kind of disagree. I disagree. Because, like, one of my my dad's hala, so she's like in her 90s. When it came to me and Matt getting married, she didn't come to our wedding, and she didn't. Also, when we had like family gatherings, you know, she would completely ignore him. But when Matt would go to these family gatherings, you know, you do the whole. So I taught him how to pay respect, obviously, to the older relatives. And even though she didn't let him, she kind of smirked in a way, like, oh crap, like he's being respectful the Turkish way. He learned how to be respectful in the Turkish way. And slowly she started sort of warming up to him, but still she wouldn't give in, because she wanted to remain, you know, the cantankerous old Turkish lady. And when I got sick and she saw that Matt was looking after me, we went to a family gathering, you know, when I recovered and stuff, and she spoke to you, didn't she?
Yeah, she's good.
Like, yeah, but that's because she's saying, oh, he's a good man because he looked after you. Like,
this is it.
But black men don't do that.
Because she's probably so used to back in her day, you know, when she did used to leave the house and stuff, seeing so many bad things, that she just kind of put her guard up and didn't let anyone in. So she kind of thought our culture, not our race, our culture was more superior than everybody else's. And yeah. And, you know, her granddaughter married a Welshman, so that upset her as well. But, you know, they had a baby, and kids make everything better sometimes.
But it's funny that, you know, Kaz, you just said, sorry, can I just say, Kaz, I love the bit where you just said that she loved it because Matt kissed her hand because it was respectful. You see? We love it. Turkish Cypriots, we love to be respectful. We love if people are respectful to us. Yeah, like the elder generation, they want us to go and kiss their hand, bayramda, seyranda, at weddings. It's part of our culture. It's part of who we are, isn't it? It's our community. That's what we do. That's what we've been brought up to do, because it's respectful. Why does Hassan call me Abla? He does my head in all day, calls me Abla. I said, don't call me Abla. Don't need it. No, but it's respectful, right? Why? Because his parents have brought him up to do that. Because in our culture, we do that. Yeah, we call people or Abla or whatever. But what I'm trying to say is, why can't we show the same respect to Matt? Why can't we show, sorry, I'm picking on you, Matt, but why can't we show the same respect to Matt? But I want him to come and kiss my hand and call me Emin Abba, don't I? Why?
The thing is,
it's okay. I'll call you Abba.
Do you know what I mean? Why? He's got to come and call me Abba and kiss my hand. But I haven't got the respect for Matt because he's that guy.
This is it. And this is the issue I have. He has to, like, jump through hoops to get the family to respect him. And it's like, obviously, if it was somebody else, they might have given up long ago and said, you know, I can't even be bothered with your family. You know, it's like forever a test, and it shouldn't be like that. Like, yeah, if they show initially when you meet somebody and they show you respect, that should be enough. You shouldn't have to keep testing them like the bloody, what's that film with Robert De Niro and Ben Stiller, Meet the Parents? It's just constant. You know, you feel the stress levels of Ben Stiller's character throughout the whole film. And it's like that constantly throughout the years. It's like you constantly have to, you know, make sure you are respectful, and you know, we can't be seen to be having any friction. We have to sit there like we're a happy couple at a wedding, you know, because God forbid we have an argument like every other couple. You know, because it's like, oh, it's because he's black, or you know, he's not Turkish, that's why. And it's like,
all jokes aside, that's serious, though,
Matt, you get a fan club here with these guys. Matt's a legend. Matt's fan club.
Yeah, good comments, Matt.
Say hi,
Loving ya.
yeah.
You know what? Kaz, sorry. I want to cut up. I want to go back to. I can never say. I'm going to call you Maidanos, Tamam. Is that all right, Abla?
No, just say none of your business.
None of your business, right? I'm going to go back to your thingy. I can't understand your perception where you feel that you can't change people, especially when they're older. And I do agree with that to a degree. But we have to continue to try. We have to continue to try because we cannot.
I don't mean older. I don't mean older. I just mean like, look, yeah, I've watched a lot of documentaries. I've met a lot of people in my lifetime, mate. And I'll tell you what, you just can't. I'm not saying all, but there is a majority of people that you just can't change. You know, they're just playing.
Definitely. Do you know, I don't know if anyone's watched. Is anyone watched a film called American History X?
Yes.
Right. That film to me was a very, very powerful film because you've got this white supremacy guy, Nazi guy, yeah, Ku Klux Klan, KKK, and when he done what he done, we all know what he done, right? And he went to prison, and being in prison, he actually changed, and he actually ended up one of his best mates was a black guy.
Forced to change.
He was forced. He was forced to change. Yeah, in prison, he had no choice.
Hold on, but he took a life.
Not 100%. I'm not saying that's
forgive
right.
and forget. No, bruv. He killed.
But
listen,
he changed.
Kill a black man and say I've changed. All right, you might change your view, but you ain't. Look, it's embedded, bruv. You can say, all right, I've changed. But you already took a life. You already murdered a black person. It's like that copper that killed this man. Yeah, he can turn around and say, you know what? I've changed my views. # Black Lives Matters. You know what, mate? I'm not on that level. You've already took a life. No, don't get me wrong. I'm here because I want people's attitudes to change. You know what I mean? And
let me ask you a question.
Fine line. There's a fine line for me.
Listen, and there's different levels, right, of this, right? But we all make mistakes in life. There's different levels of this. Don't get me wrong, I tell you that. But we all make mistakes in life, yeah? That mistake in that film was one of the biggest mistakes he most ever made. He took someone's life 100%, right? Okay? But he's learned a lesson. Going into prison, he's learned a lesson. Personally, for me, you take someone's life like that, you should die. That's my personal perception. Yeah? What my point is we can all change. And sometimes we have to continue to fight to make that change. And
but you've got to make that change before you do that. You've got to make that change before. If someone took my daughter's life.
Yeah, but the whole point of the film is that can someone unlearn racism? That's the underlying message. Can someone unlearn it? And it just kind of took one story of how they could potentially unlearn it. Because yes, he took a life and he went to prison and he was forced to work alongside someone he detested because of the color of their skin. And it was society and, you know, the people he got involved with that led him to be, again, learn the racism. He wasn't born a racist. He learned it. And it was just painting, for me, that film was just showing that, you know, if we don't start tackling things and monitoring the friends that our children are hanging out with, or even the language that the kids are using, or little comments that they're dropping, you don't nip those in the bud, then it can evolve, and you could be involved with like
100%.
right-wing Nazis. But yeah, he was forced to, if anyone hasn't seen that film, he was forced to, you know, work alongside a black person, and he didn't have anyone around him from his circle to discourage that relationship. He didn't have any racists around him to put pressure on him not to be friends with him. So he
did, because he was in prison, wasn't he?
Yeah, but he didn't have any of his racist buddies, you know, on the outside, inside with him to basically say to him, no, don't become, you know, don't be friends with him, don't talk to him. He had no one there from his little crew to say anything. So what did he do? We all know what he did.
Can I just hold you quickly? Kaz, can I hold you quickly, right?
Yeah.
Now, Edge, right? You're watching this, right? We're having a sensible conversation here. I don't need stupid comments coming up like this, man. Come on. Show a bit of respect, please. Tyrone?
See, this is what I mean, yeah? No time for conversation, remove him from the group, because if you ain't got respect for this topic, goodbye, jog on. That's my attitude.
Yeah.
See, this
At the end of the day, it's a film, but it's an educational film as well. And, you know, like, we have to, like, if you're watching it for, you know, and not understanding the message, I'm not condoning what this psycho in America did recently. I'm not condoning that at all. But what these films are saying is that how can we change our behaviors? And that's exactly what our community, like this idiot, Edge, right? Comments like that. Was that really necessary?
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
You know what? It's because he's got no respect for the topic, yeah, and he just wants to troll. But this is my point. People like that don't belong in these kind of groups, and we've got to show, you've got to make a stand in these situations, yeah? Where you say, this is how it is. If you can't conform to that, then we're not accepting you in this environment. We're not going to engage in conversation with you. Ain't even calling out the guy's name is not even worth it. And this was my point I was going to make to Em about the post, yeah, right? It's like, okay, it's a group, you've got to try and accommodate people, but from the time they show that kind of disrespect, from the time they become racist and abusive to other people, yeah, and bullying, remove them. What is the loss? It's going to be their loss, and that's where the education starts. This was my key, yeah? Education is key, and he will not learn nothing because, all right, he's still going to be on the group, he's laughing about it.
Can I just say that, and obviously Hassan will back me up on this, obviously we're both admins on the TCC UK. We are part of a team, obviously, yeah? There are 9 admins now on this team. We all do it voluntary. I just want to put this out here. We do it voluntary, okay? We're all voluntary. We do this morning, noon, and night. Most of us are working as well, okay? So whether we're going out to work or working from home, we've all got families. Some people have got, obviously Hassan's got 4 children, we've got another member, she also got 4 children. You know, we have lives too. But we're doing this for a reason, and I keep banging on about it, but we're doing it because it's our community. We want to keep our community together and support each other and make sure it grows and have respect for each other. And we have rules. The rules are pinned to the announcement section. So please, all of you, go and make yourselves, you know, familiar again with the rules. And everyone agrees to these rules when you become a member to our group, okay? We do not allow racism. We do not allow bullying, okay? And when we see it, and you have to understand, and I want to put this across as well, there's 10,000 members, yeah? I'm not saying 10,000 members obviously post daily, but we get a hell of a lot of traffic through the group. As you can see, we cannot physically monitor every single post. We cannot until it is brought to our attention, i.e. yesterday, with these kind of posts that we need to put out there. We need to put out there, and I'm saying it again, we will take action. We do take action. I got rid of quite a few people yesterday. Yeah, because
can I just say something to Em? I just want to apologise. I wasn't directing it at the group.
No, I'm not.
I mean, generally in life. You know?
I'm just saying, but in our group in particular, we're not having it. Okay, we're not having it. Everyone's got to be respectful, and I bang on about it. And you lot must be bored of seeing my name. But do you know what? You're going to keep seeing it because the more you do it, the more I'm going to write on the comments just to get on your nerves.
Eminent TCC UK admin.
All the time, I bust it out daily, and do you know what? Get used to it because you're going to keep seeing it. The more you write it, the more I'm going to write it. You know that. You keep doing it, I'm going to delete your comment. Do not swear. It's easy. Respect each other. It's easy. All you got to do It's not brain surgery.
Bravo, block.
I wanted to say, as a member of the group, that yes, admin do actually address it. Yesterday, I was going crazy. I was reporting comment after comment after comment after comment because I was going nuts. I was losing the will to live. Yesterday, I was up here on like crazy. They do address it. I even phoned up one of the admin. I was like, look, can you talk to the admin group because they need to do something about this because I'm holding my tongue and I don't know what I'm gonna do and I'm trying to not blow. But I was like, please put me on live. Please, can I go on live right now? And they were like, do you know what? We will do a show about it tomorrow. So I'm glad it was today that we did the show because at least my
I did tell you that, didn't I?
down. Yeah, the crazy came down because if I had done it yesterday, I don't know, I'd have lost the plot.
But just look at the conversation we've had for the last 1 hour and 52 minutes. Mike, we can talk, you know. But look at the conversation we've had. We don't know each other, do we? We don't know each other.
I know Miriam, and I've met.
It's a virtual world.
This is what you will see. Well done, Musti. This is what you will see. Get used to it. Eminent admin TCC UK. That's what she writes.
I'm writing all the time, everywhere. I'm going to stalk you all. It's so nice that we don't know each other. You know, we see each other's comments or posts or whatever. It's so nice that we can talk like we all know each other. And we might not all agree. We have different, you know, various of opinions, but we're respectfully having a conversation for nearly 2 hours. No one's sworn at each other. No one's called each other names. Do you know what I mean? You can sit back down, right? So do you know what I mean? How nice is this? This is what we should. This is the community.
How adult is this?
You know, this is what our community is about. Doing this.
You know what, guys? I'll be honest with you. I've thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. It's a conversation that's needed to be had. You know, like I said, I told you my little story about my little man. Do you know what I mean? That was very hard for me to put out. It was very hard for me to show my emotions on the group, but I don't care. I don't care about showing my emotions on the group because it's for the right reasons. Yeah, I hope and pray that everyone that's watched this has learned something or taken away a good positive thing from it. And if we could, like we all said, like Chanel said, if we can educate one person out of this conversation, it's one less person. It's been a success.
True.
And I'm pretty sure that we would have educated a few more. I really do, guys. I mean, I appreciate this a lot. And I really thank you all for taking the time out.
Can I say something as well?
Of course, Kaz, talk.
Absolutely.
I think it's nice. I think it's nice for people at home to be able to hear other Cypriot people's experiences, especially of being in mixed race relationships, because a lot of them, you know, a lot of Cypriots don't always mix with other Cypriots and Turks. They kind of have an idea of what it's like to be Cypriot, but actually they only mix with their families. And even when they go to Cyprus, it's just friends and family and stuff like that. They don't actually have a lot of that community spirit really going on anymore, which is fine. You know, I don't. But then again, like I don't always hang out with Turks. Do you know what I mean? It's just my family. So what I think if we all kind of vow to maybe keep educating others that we meet and calling out racism and not just being a bystander with our phones. And, you know, I think that's the only way we're going to change things within our own families. And hopefully that kind of filters down, because racism isn't going to stop overnight. I would love it to, but we're probably not going to be around to see it happen. But what we can do, like I said, is, you know, just try and educate, stand up. Now it's not just about saying I've got black friends, because that's not enough. You know, it's about, you know, not being, like I said before, not being scared of people approaching you because they look dark or scary. Like, just walk past somebody, you know, and try and do your bit. And I hope, like I said, the people at home watching can have an eye-opening experience that a lot of Cypriots are actually quite diverse in our household. Like we have, like I said, mixed race relationships. We've got mixed race children. So have a little bit of open-mindedness at that Cypriots are moving forward when it comes to like mixing with, you know, other cultures. But if you're
Well, I
stuck in
always thought,
that we're not, then I think you need to like take something today and really think about it.
I met someone on my other group, a lady who actually took her time out to inbox me and say, do you know what? I do lives every night. Well, near enough every night. We sit on live and just banter and talk and stuff. And everyone comes in and out and everyone talks. And she goes, because of you, you've actually opened my eyes and actually made me start liking Cypriots. She goes, I stopped mixing with Cypriots a long time ago, but since this isolation, because it was Ramadan, I would be up late at night and she would be watching us lot talking. And she goes, you've opened up my eyes to that Cypriots ain't so narrow-minded anymore. She goes, and it's only because I was watching your live, talking to random strangers that you've never met in your life, and that you can just be yourself, and that it's not so rigid anymore. Like, it's got to be set like this, and Turkish girls have got to be like that, and Turkish guys have got to be like this. That it's made people aware. And I think by having these conversations with each other on different platforms and different people, it's reaching out to more people that, you know, there isn't a such thing as Cypriots have to be like this or they have to be like that. We can be who we want, and we can still make friendships and outside relationships. It's about actually just saying, yeah, I'm Cypriot, but accept me for me. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't, you know, we can make the friendships, the relationships, the children in any circle. It's about still having that community spirit within each other, because I think I personally don't. In the school that I went to, there wasn't many Cypriots. It was like pick a Cypriot in the school, as Miriam would know because we went to the same school. So there wasn't many of us, so we didn't have a choice of mixing with other Turkish Cypriots. But as an adult, the circles I was in or the places I would work, there again wasn't any Cypriots. Being a civil servant in my workplace, there wasn't other Cypriots to mix with, so I wasn't making Cypriot friends there either. And it's only since I joined this group, I think I joined roughly around February, that I started making all these Cypriot friends, and then I created my own group for the singles. And because I saw what was going on in here, and I was like, they're flirting too much on here, it's inappropriate, so let's jump them over there. And then I was like, yeah, do you know what? Like, keeping all like the communities. And then by chance I met up with Eri Mabi, because Eri Mabi knows my mum, and I'm now going out every Friday delivering food parcels in the community. Me, someone that don't have no Cypriot connection, is now taking phone calls and giving advice to other Cypriot people over the phone and doing the hotline. But if it wasn't for maybe COVID, and if it wasn't for this group and all the connections that I've made through this, I might have never ever had that. Does that make sense?
This is what
my
I'm
last
talking about.
words, yeah. My last words, the post I put up today, just give me so much hope, because I really felt alone in my journey as a Cypriot woman, to be honest with you, being with a black man and having black children, and being part of a massive black community. I mean, it's my life. And after the post I put up today, I was just like, I wanted to take that feed and share it to the world, do you know what I mean? And say, wow, look, you know what, our Cypriot community are amazing. Yeah, I'm fucking amazing. I fucking love you. Big up to the future generations. Yeah, our children are gonna make the change. Removed.
You know, I'm on.
Seriously, sending you all love, man, and for all the comments, all the lovely, amazing stories, pictures of your families. I'll tell you what, you empowered me. I feel so inspired. And my daughters, I did crop the post and I did share them with my daughters, because I wanted them to see actually our Cypriot community is moving forward and change is coming. And I
get them to join the group.
push that out. Yeah, I will. Oh, are you sure? You won't have a two of me? I don't think so. No.
I want to say one thing, and I want to say it to my friend Hassan. Thank you, mate. No, I'm not. I'm holding it in really badly. Thank you, mate. Thank you. Because without you today, we wouldn't have had this tonight. And I've just been seeing all the comments, and the comments are amazing. So thanks to everyone that watched us and joined in. But seriously, on a level, Hassan, I want to thank you, because You are passionate.
It was Sean's idea. It was Sean's
Oh,
idea.
1 minute. I'm going to move there. Wait, Donna Nalman, wait. Right. I want to thank you because you obviously facilitated this. It was Shan's idea. I saw her message last night. Please, can I go live? We were all like, oh my days, not now. Wait a minute.
Calm down.
Yeah, calm down, love. So, thank you, Hassan, for getting all of us together. Shan, thanks for the idea. Thanks to all of you. And after one, I'm proud that I've been on this with you. I've never done a live before because I'm quite conscious, actually.
Yeah,
but
it's first time.
it is. But I have to say, I'm really proud, and I'm really proud that we've done it.
Me too.
Like, yeah, I hope even if one person, and by judging by the comments, maybe a couple of people have enjoyed themselves. I've just read someone said it's the best 2 hours they've spent all day. Yeah. So thank you, whoever that was. But thank you to all of you. Thank you to Kaz. Matt, you've got a fan club. I'm seeing the comments. Are you seeing the comments?
Matt's got mad love.
A fan club. Yeah, but no, seriously. In all seriousness, thank you all. And TCC UK are here for everyone. We're inclusive. We're not exclusive. We're all here to help. We're all always. The admins are here day and night usually. If anyone needs anything, if anyone needs anything, you just message any of us, okay? And thank you.
Let's close up. I mean, Chanel said something. Abla said something. We're going to call it Abla. None of your business. Shiva, take your mic off. Tell us some closing words, please. Take your mic off. Shall I take it off for you?
Sure.
Hi there, Donald.
Sorry. Sorry. I don't know. I don't know. I'm really happy that I've actually came on here today. To be honest, actually, this may sound like cheesy, maybe kind of cringy, but it did take a lot of courage to like message Hassan Abi as well, saying, "Oh yeah, can I please speak out?" Because to be honest, I do usually go lives on my page, because what I do and for my job and for my hairdressing and stuff and whatnot. But I have never been on live to literally like so many people. That's why, like, because I have so much bad anxiety to the point where I can't, like, I'm just like, oh, do I go on live? So I was like, no, I need to come on, speak. I need to show my support, my love. I want to speak up. I want to show that I care. Like, I want this to happen. I want to put a stop to this, and I want to be in this. Like, I was like, no. That's why I messaged her, and I was like, we have to do this because I want my voice to be heard. And I'm glad that I've messaged Hassan Abi. So, and yeah, listening to everyone's views about it, I'm actually like, it's actually touched me, because hearing everyone like agree with everyone's different opinions is just so moving, to know that we are all one and we deserve to be together, and we are equal, and we should all love each other. Like, we should be taught to love each other, not taught to be hating each other. This is what we've been given. Like, we need to give the opportunity to show one another the love, the respect, the care, the kindness, like, out of our hearts, deep down out of our hearts, and show it to one another. And I think, like, it's nice that we've come together and said our views. So I'm really glad that I've kind of, can I say, met you guys? Or
you can say that, because I've seen you.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad that I've come on here and met you guys. Like, you are such lovely people, and reading the comments, like, such positive comments, and they're all agreeing as well. And I just want everyone to, like, you know, share to the world that how important this is, because it really is. And yeah, guys, share some love and share the positivity around you. Go up to one another, show that you love them, give them a hug, be like, you deserve this. And yeah, love you lots, guys.
Love you.
So,
thank you.
Oh, well done, Zimra. That's awesome. Last words.
Beautiful. Kazmat, do you want to say your part and then I'll finish off?
Comments are wicked as well. The comments are the boom.
Oh, I'm mute. You're unmuted.
I get asked to do a lot of talks, as you can tell. I'm really vocal in my opinions and trying to get them across. But for the past 3 years, I've been mainly harping on about cancer as a Turkish woman, because again, it's one of the subjects that doesn't often get talked about. So not to plug my socials, but you know, I am on social media and I do talk about cancer a lot. Chanel will know that anyway. But I want to say thank you to Chanel for inviting me, honestly, to speak, because I never get a chance to speak within my own community. And, you know, like I said, because I've been talking about the same topic for ages. But this is something that I live in.
For you.
The hot just telling me off for crying. Sorry, Kaz, I can't help it.
No, like I live and breathe, you know, because I am in a mixed race relationship, and it is something that I am also passionate about, because I have had a lot of stick about, and you know, like I do face certain things, but again, like the illness that I've faced, that I kind of know that inside and out, and I try and do public speaking and stuff at conferences and stuff like that. But this has been really, really, really amazing for me, and to properly sort of introduce myself to you guys and the Turkish community. And yeah, I appreciate you guys having Matt on as well. Even though he's not a Turk, he's an honorary.
He's one of us, man. He's one of us. He's one of us.
You need to move along, because he's like in the front now. You need to move along, Kaz, because we don't remember.
Here we go. Here we go.
I've adopted another family.
Checking this out. Kazan Enişte.
Thank you so much for actually having this conversation.
Kazan Enişte.
We got a new Enişte.
That's fine. Keep doing what you're doing. The more we talk about issues, the more we can actually get some action together to make our world a better place. So you guys have started that. And
Matt is our Enişte.
See the comment there, Matt. Matt is our Enişte.
We just need to keep it up. So next time you sit down and you're having chai with someone, or you're going to go shopping, just think about how you can make someone smile for that day.
Look at the next one. Look at this. Make Matt admin. I'm on he's taken over.
This was not in the script. That was not in the script.
Can I say
You know what?
one thing?
I feel like I've adopted a family. You know, guys are
Go away,
amazing.
Sean.
Can I say one thing?
Yes,
Because I didn't know it was the last time I was going to talk, so I have to just say one more thing. I want to say thank you for letting me actually voice my opinion tonight, because obviously you didn't have to, even though I was losing the plot yesterday. So thank you guys, like, for letting me actually say what I had to say. I'm glad it's today and not yesterday, though.
It was a better time.
Yeah.
I mean, guys, look, let me end this, right? I mean, first and foremost, I want to thank you, Sean, for reaching out to us today. I think this was a great idea, a great thing to do, and I'll be totally honest with you. On my perspective, I'd like to do more of these kind of shows. Do you understand what I mean? And I think we need to talk about our culture more and try and make people wake up and realise, yeah? Secondly, I hope people understand and realise today is about Black Lives Matters, yeah? Not all lives matters, Black Lives Matters, and we need to understand the reason why to that being, okay? Thirdly, mind you, none of your business. Abla, Siva, Matt, Kaz, Emanaba, I appreciate you all joining me. Sean, obviously, as well. I would also want to thank the admin team as well, because obviously, as much as effort I do, it's not going to be this stuff wouldn't be possible without all the admin team digging in. Halil, he does all the artwork for us, everything. He sets up StreamYard for me to come and do this. Do you understand what I mean? I respect and love every single one of you and every single person, the admin team, the members, the comments. It means a lot. And for me, it means so much. And, if we can change that one person's life, as I said before, it's an amazing thing that we're doing. And I do want to do more of these kind of conversations. I do want to do more of these topics. And I keep saying, definitely, man, I think we need to do it. I think we need to do so many different topics. But we need to continue to do this topic. And this is what I believe, because the more we talk about this topic, the more it's going to get out and the more it gets embedded into someone, yeah?
Definitely.
Say a routine, yeah? When you're in a routine, you're in a routine, right? Yeah? I think it's fair to say a lot of people have watched tonight. And the thing about this will be saved on. You can share this to other people. People will watch it. And this will mostly go out to 5,000-6,000 people will see this. And that's no joke. Do you know what I mean? You go and check it in a couple of days. You'll see how many people. Look, hopefully we've done it. Guys, thank you very much again. I much appreciate your time, your effort. I love you all.
Final words from Matt in Turkish. Go on, Matt.
Come on, Matt.
Matt.
Say it again.
Hadi be, sen de konuşuruz.
Guys, love you all.
Yes, shove
Thank
it.
you all. I'm going to end the broadcast. Stay online. I'm going to end the broadcast and I'm going to have a quick chat and then we can all bounce off and I'll continue. Thank you all for tuning in, guys. Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone. Kid.